Modern School. This is Krupa Shukla welcomes you in here. Today we'll go that unit number 2. First part we have completed. That first part was about the life of Evelyn and her struggle. Secondly, we have very interesting part secondly, and you all are aware or familiar with the name of this person. The name is Bismillah Khan. Yes, I am talking about that famous Shehnai Wadak, that is Bismillah Khan. So here we have the life and the story of Bismillah Khan, and let's see how he just passed his childhood days and how he struggled to become famous. So here I am with this book. Please keep this book while you watch this video, so it will be easy for you to understand each and every line and new words. Some of the new words I have written here. I'll give you time to note down those things. I am here with this book on page number 21. The Shehnai of Bismillah Khan. Paragraph number 1. I am reading, student. Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of a musical instrument called pungi in the royal residence, for it had a shrill, unpleasant sound. It was time of Aurangzeb. At that time, what happened that Aurangzeb just stopped or just passed the rule that no one would play a pungi in his kingdom, because the sound of that pungi was so shrill or unpleasant sound that pungi was, so that Aurangzeb just banned that sound of pungi in his kingdom. Pungi became the generic name for reed noise maker. Generic name, student, means a name given to a class or a group as a whole. That is called generic name. And another word we have here is reeded. Reeded means the wind instruments which have reeds like the flute and clarinet. Reeds means small halls. So the pungi became the generic name for reeded noise maker. Means that pungi is a name of one kind of musical instrument, and you will not find any kind of difference between flute and pungi. Both look alike and both has somewhere shrill and that sound quality both have same. A barber, few had thought that it would one day be revived, and some people just thought that pungi will be revived one day. As Aurangzeb had banned that pungi in his kingdom, so no one had courage to play that instrument without Aurangzeb's permission. So some people had that thought in their mind that someday this pungi will be revived. Revived means that live again. A barber of a family of a professional musicians who had access to the royal palace decided to improve the tonal quality of the pungi. Barber, you know, the person who cuts our hair is called barber. So a barber of a family of profession means one person by profession, that person was barber, and he decided to change the tone, to change the sound of pungi, and he decided to play that pungi, changing its sound quality in royal palace. He chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem that was longer and broader than the pungi. For that, what did he do? He just chose a pipe, means he took a long pipe, and that pipe had natural hollow stem that was longer and broader than the pungi. So that pipe is like just a pipe with a pipe of that flute. So that pipe had that hollow stem, and it was longer and broader than pungi. Means in size and in weight, that pipe is heavier, and in length it was longer than pungi. When he played and made 7 holes on the body of that pipe, and that barber musician, what did he do? He just made 7 small holes on that pipe. When we played on it, closing and opening some of these holes, soft and melodious sounds were produced. So now that instrument was ready, and when that person started playing that that pipe closing and opening of this hole means like this. When we use flute, we were doing this, we just do this thing. So that way that person started playing pungi, and this time the sound was so melodious and sweet. He played the instrument before royalty and everyone was impressed. So he played that new instrument in the kingdom of Aurangzeb, and all the person, or we can say all the people, were happy with the sound of that new instrument. The instrument was so different from the pungi, had to given a new name. See, that was not pungi, that was new instrument, and that's why that king and other courtiers we had decided to give new name to that musical instrument. As the story goes, since it was first played in the Shah chambers and was played by a nai, that is barber, the instrument was named the Shehnai. Now they have given this instrument a name Shehnai. Picture you have here, you have picture of pungi and you have picture of Shehnai. Now you got the difference between pungi and Shehnai. See, in size wise that these two instruments are different. So how they gave name this instrument to Shehnai? So when it was first time it was played in Shah Jahan's chamber. So Shah name is given from there, and it was played by a nai. Nai means barber who cuts our hair. So it was played by a nai, that's why it is called Shehnai. So this way the name of that new instrument was given by that person who played this first time, and that name was Shehnai. Still we use this name in our day-to-day life, that is Shehnai. And now you all are aware about the instrument Shehnai which I am talking from here. Paragraph number 2 I am reading, student. The sound of the Shehnai began to be considered auspicious. So now what happened? Earlier the pungi sound was unpleasant and shrill. No person, even king, would didn't like that sound of that unpleasant pungi. But now this new instrument called Shehnai was so much pleasant and so much melodious voice, a sound that Shehnai has. So that the sound of the Shehnai began to be considered auspicious. Auspicious means, students, promising to bring good fortune. So people started believing that playing that Shehnai in the house is called auspicious thing, means it brings good fortune to us. And for this reason it is still played in temples and is an indispensable component of any northern Indian wedding. So we can see still in some temple Shehnai is being played. And why it is being played in temple? Because that playing Shehnai is an auspicious part of religion. It is very holy deed or pious thing. That's why this Shehnai is played in temple. And if we go to North Indian wedding, they are used to play Shehnai during marriages. Just imagine, marriages are the important part of any person. So they play Shehnai during their marriages. It means this is that indispensable part of those people. Indispensable matlab means without which a piece of work cannot be done. Means you can't separate anything, that is called indispensable. The Shehnai was part of the noble or traditional ensemble of 9 instruments found at royal court. See, at royal court means at the court of king. So at the court of king there are 7 royal musical instruments. So Shehnai was one of them. So it is a matter of pride for us that Shehnai was being considered as a noble, or we can say traditional ensemble for us. Ensemble means, students, things considered as a group. Means it was considered as a group in royal court. Till recently it was used only in temples and weddings. Still you can find this playing of Shehnai in temples and in weddings. The credit for bringing this instrument onto the classical stage goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. So here we got our hero, and which person just brought this musical instrument Shehnai to the classical music stage. So that person was none other but Bismillah Khan, Ustad Bismillah Khan. Onto what we got here, onto means on the top. So onto means on the top. So Bismillah Khan had that credit to put his instrument, this Shehnai instrument on that classical stage. Okay. Now I am reading paragraph number 3. As a 5-year-old, now from here that life of Bismillah Khan is started. As a 5-year-old, Bismillah Khan played Gilli Danda near a pond in the ancient estate of Damrao in Bihar. So when he was 9-year-old, means Bismillah Khan was 9-year-old. At that time, what happened? He was playing Gilli Danda. You know that game. He was playing Gilli Danda near the pond in the ancient state of Damrao in Bihar. Means he belonged to Bihar. In Damrao village he was living, and when he was 9-year-old, he was playing Gilli Danda near pond. He would regularly go to nearby that Bihariji temple to sing the Bhojpuri Chaita, at the end of which he would earn a big laddu weighing 1.25 kg, a prize given by the local Maharaja. So that was his routine schedule. He just regularly went to the temple. See, that temple, and the temple was Bihariji temple, and he sang there Bhojpuri Chaita. And in return, what did he get? He just get one big laddu, and that laddu was 1.25 kg big. He got as a reward there, and who gave that prize to Bismillah Khan? So that local Maharaja has given that big laddu to Bismillah Khan. This happened 80 years ago. So this is not the story of Karan. This happened 80 years ago. Here we are talking about Bismillah Khan's childhood. So that happened before 80 years. And the little boy has travelled far to earn the highest civilian award in India, the Bharat Ratna. It means he was awarded with Bharat Ratna, and Bharat Ratna was the highest civilian award any person can ever achieve. Paragraph number 4 I am reading. Born on 21 March 1916, Bismillah belongs to a well-known family of musicians from Bihar. So now he was born on 21st March 1960, and he was that very well-known family. He belonged to very well-known family of musicians in Bihar. His grandfather Rasul Baksh Khan was the Shehnai Nawaz of the Bhojpur King's court. His grandfather name was Rasul Baksh Khan, and he was the Nawaz of Bhojpur King's court. His father, that Paingambar Baksh, and that other paternal ancestor were also great Shehnai players. So here we got that word, that is paternal ancestor. Paternal ancestor means ancestor of the father. So his grandfather name was Rasul Baksh Khan, and he was the Shehnai Nawaz of Bhojpur King's court. And now talking about his father name was Paingambar Baksh. See, Baksh, don't interchange or don't misinterpret the name of this grandfather and father. The other paternal ancestors were also great Shehnai players. So there is no doubt that Bismillah got this Shehnai playing in his blood, that his grandfather, his father and his paternal ancestor were there involving in this Shehnai playing. On page number 23, paragraph number 5, I am reading, student. The young boy took to music early in life. So there was no doubt that Bismillah Khan started playing this Shehnai in very early life. At the age of 3, when his mother took him to his maternal uncle's house in Banaras, now Varanasi, Bismillah was fascinated watching his uncles practice the Shehnai. So when he was 3 years old, at that time he went to his maternal uncle's house which was there in Banaras, and at that time his maternal uncle was playing that Shehnai, and Bismillah was fascinated by seeing that. Soon Bismillah started accompanying his uncle Ali Bakhsh to the Vishnu temple of Banaras, where Bakhsh was employed to play the Shehnai. The name of his maternal uncle is Ali Bakhsh. So very soon Bismillah Khan started giving company to his uncle who was playing Shehnai at Vishnu temple of Banaras, and that Bismillah Khan joined him. Ali Bakhsh would play the Shehnai and Bismillah would sit captivated for hours on end. And what did Bismillah Khan do there? That Ali Bakhsh was busy when Ali Bakhsh was busy in playing that Shehnai there. At that time Bismillah would sit captivated for hours on end. And Bismillah Khan was so attracted or fascinated by that Shehnai or that playing of Shehnai, so he just sit there and gave company to his uncle. For years too, slowly he started getting lessons in playing the instrument and would sit practicing throughout the day. Now what happened, slowly and gradually he also started playing this Shehnai. For years to come, the temple of Balaji and Mangla Maiya and the banks of Ganga became the young apprentice's favorite haunts where he could practice in solitude. So what did he do? He just used to play that Shehnai, or he used to practice that Pehnai. He means here that Bismillah Khan on the banks in the temple of Balaji and Mangla Maiya, and these temples were situated at banks of Ganga, became the young apprentice's favorite haunts where he could practice in solitude. So that was his best places for practicing Shehnai playing, and he wanted to practice that Shehnai in solitude, means in all alone. The flowing waters of the Ganga inspired him to improvise and invent ragas that were earlier considered to be beyond the range of Shehnai. And what did he get there? He was practicing that Shehnai playing near the bank of river Ganga, and that flowing water, the sound of river Ganga's water gave him motivation and inspiration, and by getting that motivation and inspiration, he just invented new and beautiful different ragas which was nearly impossible for any other person. Here I have completed paragraph number 5, student. Here we got 2 to 3 new words, but first of all you have some time to note down this thing. Please note down this thing. So which word we got from this paragraph is, first is captivated. It means to hold interest. Secondly we got is on and it means for very long time without stopping. Another word we got is apprentice. It means a training student. The person who is getting training is called apprentice. So these 3 to 4 words we got from paragraph number 5. Now I am reading paragraph number 6. Paragraph number 6. At the age of 14, Bismillah accompanied his uncle to the Allahabad music conference. So So when he was 14 years old, he just gave company to his uncle in Allahabad music conference. At the end of his recital, Ustad Fayaz Khan patted the young boy's back and said, so Ustad Fayaz Khan was also there in that conference, and when that conference was over, at that time Ustad Fayaz Khan came to that boy, means came to Bismillah Khan. At that time he was 14 years old, and he just told that boy that. Here we got one word, that is recital. Recital means rehearsal. So let me write that word. So what did Ustad Fayaz Khan tell that boy? Let's see. Work hard and you shall make it. Means Ustad Fayaz Khan words are here written that he just suggested that boy to work hard, and he just told that boy would make his name one day. With the opening of the All India Radio in Lucknow in 1938 came Bismillah's big break. When in 1938 that All India Radio in Lucknow was opened, at that time Bismillah Khan got his first break. He soon became an often heard Shehnai player on radio. So on radio he started playing Shehnai, and very oftenly he played there, and people started loving that sound and that art of Bismillah Khan of playing Shehnai. So he started his career. His first break was he got in All India Radio in Lucknow 1938. Paragraph number 7 I am reading. When India gained independence on 15th August 1947, Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to greet the nation with his Shehnai. It was time of 15th August 1947 when we got our independence. At that time, Bismillah Khan got that chance to play that Shehnai, or he was the first Indian to greet the nation by playing his Shehnai. It was indeed a matter of pride for any person that in this kind of historical event Bismillah Khan got this much precious chance. He poured his heart onto Rag Kafi from the Red Fort to the audience, which included Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who later gave his famous Tryst with Destiny speech. So he played, means Bismillah Khan played his Shehnai in Rag Kafi, in Kafi Rag, and he was playing so melodiously, so beautifully that at Red Fort that audience was fascinated by his playing. Jawaharlal Nehru was also there at Red Fort, and he just gave his famous Tryst with Destiny speech. Tryst means to meet. Another word we got here. So when Jawaharlal Nehru has given this speech, the Bismillah Khan was also there. Student, you have some time to note down this thing. Please note down. Okay students, so now we should stop here. We have completed 7 paragraphs, and paragraph 8 to 12 will be completed in our next video. Now it's time to give you homework. Your homework is you have to write these new words in your book. Many new words I have given to you in this video. So now it's your homework is you have to write these new words in your book. We'll meet again in next video. Till then, please take care of yourself. Thank you.